I had an interesting conversation with my mom today, and I have mentioned a few times in recent posts that she is not an emotionally safe space for me when it comes to just needing to talk about things. Because the way my mind works is in order for me to understand certain concepts um, and to visualize this in my head, I have to know the why or the how. How do things work? Or why is this thing behaving in a way that it shouldn't, or why should things be behaving, doing, performing in a certain way. I need the why and the how. So when I've been struggling through this PTSD for 12 years, and nobody outside of me is advocating for me and saying, grabbing me by the arm, yanking me into a therapist's office or something, saying something is wrong with her, I now have to also be my own advocate. And the process for me over the last 12 years and why it has taken me so long to finally figure out what the hell I want to do with my life. What kind of career do I want to pursue? All of those things to get back on my feet and get back to actually living life is knowing that somewhere in here I am obstructing myself. Okay, so first I have to identify what is blocking my path. And then once I identify what is blocking my path, then I have to dig into the mechanics of it, if you will. It's like, okay, well, this goes back to my verbally abusive father, or this goes back to this period in my life that had a negative impact on me, and really look at it and dissect it so that once I do understand the why and or the how, now I can look at it and say, okay, there's an obstacle. This is what it is. This is how it came about, or this is why this obstacle is here. Now I can find a plan and come up with a plan to work around the obstacle and still be hopefully a successful human being. And today, being able to at least explain that to her was, for me, it was a huge step forward. I don't know if that's going to change anything with her. It probably won't, because there's another issue with her not being an emotionally safe space for me, and that is I don't trust her to keep her mouth shut. At some point, she's going to have a conversation with somebody, even if I had told her and it wasn't one of those conversations where I did. But if it had been, and I said, this stays between you and me, somebody else is going to know because she told them. And that is something that I picked up on a long time ago that made it so problematic for her as my mother when I was a child, in my room crying because of something my dad had said, negative, insulting, most likely shouting. And now I'm just like this broken little girl, crying her eyes out, thinking she's wrong and she's doing life wrong and she can never get anything right. And not just the communication problem of a child trying to explain such concept or huge concepts. Um, but I remember always feeling like she's going to tell my grandmother, she's going to tell my dad, she's going to tell people, her friends, and then people are going to know this. And these are the kind of things that, I'm a very private person when it comes to that. Because again, going back to my father, he, yeah, there was always a lot of shame and always doing something wrong and feeling like I was the stupidest person on the planet and I could never get anything right. And, that whole pile of garbage. um, I I have a real thing with being embarrassed publicly. I mean, I don't like humor like that toward anybody. I don't do that to anybody because it feels fucking awful to be humiliated in some way, shape, or form in public. And knowing that she has a big mouth and she doesn't have that filter and doesn't know what to, doesn't even stop and think to herself, maybe I shouldn't say anything to anybody about what my daughter just told me. And it's not just me. I mean, this is how she is. You know, my brothers and I have talked about it a lot over the years. That she doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut. You know, you can't tell her anything in confidence because somebody else will know about it because of her. But for me, it was kind of a relief because being unable to articulate things as an adult is extremely frustrating to me. So I made a good step forward today on that. Like I said, I don't think it's going to change anything, but um, I'm sitting here feeling a little lighter at least. So at least I got her to understand that I don't do this because I'm a negative person and I'm so pessimistic and I'm still holding on to all of those mental scripts that I held about myself because of my father. This is just my thought process and this is how I work through things and why it has been so freaking difficult for me to make any progress when I have to doctor myself, basically. I have to be my own doctor to the me that is the patient with the PTSD and everything. So I don't know. I just wanted to share that. I know it's, kind of weird that, I don't want to talk to to my mom about certain things because I don't trust her. And it's so difficult because she's not patient. And it was like she just didn't understand how my brain worked. But then I'm here on TikTok talking about it. But I mean, this is anything I talk about on TikTok are things that I have gotten to a point where I don't give a shit who knows. But it's just the idea that I can't go to my mother about those things because I don't want her to just blab it all over the place. So I had a win today. Woo! So, um, it's kind of spitting snow out there and it's cold, and I'm going to sit and cheer myself up with some Mystery Science Theater. So, thanks for listening. I hope you have a good evening.